Hello folks and welcome back. Well, guess what? I am yet again doing post commentary because Darksiders crashed again. I don't think it's a game problem. And Audacity did lose the audio, but frankly I'm having a hard time blaming Audacity at this point. It's not really designed to be making sure your stuff is saved because your computer's unstable. Now the good news is that I believe I have fixed the problem. Not going to bore you with the details. I think it was the power supply was not giving steady supply to the power. Was not giving steady power to the graphics card, rather, and that was causing it to crash. So I have replaced said power supply, did more stress tests, and this time it passed. So I believe the problem is fixed. The bad news is that somehow I managed to damage one of my RAM slots in the motherboard. Don't know what it was, but I'm going to take this as a lesson to always wear your static wraps on your wrists when you're working on your PC, boys and girls, because that very well could have been what caused it. So, good news, I think I have fixed this problem. Bad news, I'm down to 4 gigs of RAM. So you win some, you lose some, I guess. But at any rate, I'm just showing this. I think the last time, or it crashed, I had gotten up to this point, but I hadn't gotten the chests. I was in the middle of fighting. So I'm just sending these guys over to flip the switches, and as usual, I'm just double checking, make sure there's nothing I'm missing. As you know, I have to double and triple check all the rooms to make sure I don't miss anything. But, of course, I still managed to miss stuff, so that's kind of a bummer. Also, I want to say Happy New Year to you guys watching this early in the January of 2013. I actually recorded this about 2.5 to 3 weeks ago, so a lot of this will be new to me as well. Well, almost new. But yeah, Happy New Year. I'm really going to focus more on the channel, and here I've locked myself out. I can probably grab that and go up, or I can fail. I really don't understand why they didn't program that logic better. If I'm pointing the camera at an orb, what's called a grab orb. If I'm pointing the camera at a grab orb and I'm using the hand, I probably mean to use the hand to grab the orb. So definitely could have did a better job. So let's kill these puny little bugs. Oh, cutscene. It's our spider bro. Okay. Spider bro just hissed at us and ran away. Understandable. Go ahead and summon these guys in case I need them. I actually don't remember in the other videos if I'd made it this far. Pretty sure I did. I know I got stuck here for a little while. Again, don't remember if that was in this video or not. So yeah, I've lost about an hour of the commentary again. Man, I really hope this is fixed. If this is not fixed going forward, the nerd rage will be epic. Just sending him over to flip the switch so I can get back through this door. And while I'm just kind of trying to set myself up to get back across... Oh no, I guess this is the first time I've done this. So yeah, spoiler alert, I get stuck here a little bit later on. I don't even remember if I got past this part, to be honest. Because obviously it crashed again, and I was so frustrated. I was just like, screw this. I'm done. That's basically what pushed me over the edge. Was, you know, 2 crashes in one session. Again, I was just like, you know what? I've got to get this problem fixed. So here I'm trying to figure out how to get across to that wooden thing. I think I was just trying to look around, but I was fighting the camera. The good thing about this camera is that when you are doing things like this, the camera tends to point where you want to go. The bad thing about this camera is that if you want to look around just to get an idea of the landscape and see if there's maybe an alternate path, the camera fights you constantly. So if you move it, it immediately tries to put itself right back where it was, which is quite annoying. It had been much better if they let you freely move the camera and then press a key to set it back to whatever the default was. So generally, I think it's a good idea. So for the most part, I think they did a good job on it. Here, I'm just basically cheesing so I can take a look around. Just doing the grab thing to slow down my descent so that I can pan the camera around and look and see what's all around, since this freaking camera won't let me do it. But as I was saying, I think in general the camera's done well, but in this case it's frustrating. Here I'm trying to order one of the guys to go run to the button, but you can't do that while you're hung up, when you're holding something like the wooden beam or the grab, the little beams on the wall. You also can't do it while you're jumping, which I try repeatedly. However, I did also forget here that both of the dudes are already standing on a button, and if you order them to stand on another one, I don't recall if they will automatically break off and go do it. Here I was trying to jump into that side hole. It's just too far away and too far to the side. Actually, I think it's more of a case of it being to the side, since you don't really have any control of your descent. And of course I had to try it at least once more, and it's pretty obvious from that I think the distance I made fine, but the range I did not. I mean the angle, rather. So I hope you guys also had a good Christmas. I know I sure did. The little woman came over for about a week and a half. I think it was, something like that. Obviously I didn't play anything then, because we don't really... She doesn't come over that much, so I wanted to not be a dickhole and play video... Well, I did end up playing a lot of video games. But I didn't want to try to do commentary. To be honest, too, it's very weird to do commentary while someone's in the room. I've done it a time or two, and it's very awkward. It's worse so because they don't... Even if they know what you're doing, they don't hear the game, because I've got, the headphones on. So they have no idea what's going on. I'm just talking to myself. Sort of like listening to somebody who's on the phone, but they're having a one-way conversation. So I'm going to head back now, because I think I released that guy, so that I could jump over here. Seems like I didn't get this right here. See, I hate post-commentary. But hopefully everything will be fine. Man, I really hope I fix this problem with the power supply. I'll slide down here. Again, I'm thinking, well, maybe I can send him over, but I'm still having issues. Maybe I didn't release it. I remember this giving me more trouble than it should have. It was one of those things where I found a solution, and I was like, oh, well, that was dumb on my part. And the reason I keep jumping back and forth is because I'm thinking it's saying that I can send him if I'm mid-air, which again, metagame-wise, I should have been triggered going, okay, they're not going to make you mid-air try to signal the guy to go there when you can't just hold off the wall, right? That would be a little ridiculous. Again, here I'm fighting the camera, trying to look around, seeing if I'm missing something. I see him fighting a bug, I think. And here I'm trying to fall off and go inside, but you can't. There's nothing to grab onto, and you also have no control of yourself when you're falling. There I was trying to just jump, see if I could jump past the spikes, which, is one of those things where it looks like there's no way you can do it, but I wanted to try, because sometimes it looked like there's no way you can make a jump, and then you can. There I was trying to see if I could hop onto that, grab hold of that ledge, but obviously you can't. And I think I just had my angle wrong there. And I'm probably getting pretty frustrated at this point, because I can't figure out how to send that guy over there. So again, while I'm aimlessly trying to do this, I do want to put a lot more work into the channel this year, as many of you know. I am now officially unemployed. I got laid off. December 31st was my official last day. Not to go too much into details you don't give a shit about, but there was going to be a new opportunity, like on January 2nd. It went from like a sure thing to, okay, this might not happen, but it almost certainly will, to, okay, there's a darn good chance this isn't happening. So, what I'm probably going to do is kind of take a month off and just kind of relax, because I don't really take much vacation. So pretty much all of January, I'm probably not going to do too much of anything at work, even like job hunting related. I'm definitely going to keep my eyes open, but yeah, I'm going to try to spend more time on the channel. I'm trying to again figure out what order these guys need to be in, standing on the switches, in order for me to get through there. I think there I'm trying to remember what exactly he opened by standing on that switch. And I'm just checking all the corridors here in case there was an alternate path that I missed somewhere along the line. And checking the map, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Oh, remember we have two quests here. We have the one to kill Echidna. Echidna? Let's just call it Echidna. Kill Echidna, and to get the third dude back to his king. In hindsight, I think I get the third guy. I don't know. I'm not going to try to guess. We'll watch it together and figure out what happens. See, this is one of the only areas that I'm a little bit more okay with post-commentary, because it's obviously pretty boring for you guys to watch, or at least some of you. And I can kind of talk about other things, which may or may not be interesting. Alright, I'm trying to send him over there to pull that switch, but I guess there's just no way for him to get over there. And that door is just an alternate way to go around, I think. That path that I went into when I said I'm just checking out the path, I think that's just doubling back to that path. So I think I'm pretty much wasting my time here. In fact, that's the door that I got stuck at near the beginning of this, where I locked it behind me and I ended up falling into the pit. There's the camera freaking out a little bit. I was trying to obviously grab a hold of this guy and pull myself to him like that. Yeah, see, the left just goes right back to where I was. There's me realizing that. And I'm trying to remember, exactly what's down here. I'm trying to just jump off, because it's faster. But I believe this is the area with the chests that you have to, yeah. So, this has no purpose, but I am going to double check again to make sure I haven't missed anything. I do see that seems a little out of place, the circular doohickey, but as far as I can tell, it does nothing. So I'm going to flail about here madly, because I'm almost positive the solution right here. But regarding the channel, I do want to thank you guys for helping me be very what I would consider to be very successful last year. Went up a lot of subscribers. Just a good year for me. But this year, I really want to focus on expanding the channel. I wanted to start setting some goals for subscriber numbers and whatnot. But bottom line is, I want to try to be more proactive. Maybe get a Vertigo Tea Party Facebook page. I already have G+ and Twitter, but I don't use them much. I'm just not... I'm very weird with social media. Like, I'll use the hell out of a social media site, whether it's Facebook or Google+ or Twitter. I'll use it hot and heavy for 2 to 3 weeks, and then I won't touch it. Like, I check my Facebook and my Google+ maybe once every 4 to 5 days. and I really need to fix that. I need to start checking every day, updating Twitter every day, Google Plus every day, making the Facebook page, update every day. I've also started a Tumblr site. If you're not familiar, Tumblr is like a web journal, and I used to say web journal because I really hate the term blog because it just sounds idiotic. God, I hate that term. I want to smack the shit out of whoever came up with blog. Anyway, so I've started that. I've actually already made a post. If you guys want to check it out, it's just vertigoteaparty.tumblr.com, and Tumblr is TUMBLR.
As you command.
So here now, now I'm seeing. Okay, I need to send him down there. This is when I had one of those facepalm moments. Like, how stupid are you? Like, I spent all this time here trying to send him across, and the solution was just send him over before you hop on here. Just one of those herp-a-derp moments where the solution is obvious and you were just too dumb to figure it out. So, not quite sure why I'm still hopping around. Oh, I think I was just trying to get the right angle. I wanted to make sure I was high enough to not fall into the pit, but obviously too high and you grab a hold of that. So I realized I got to jump lower. And that was not low enough, so I need to get lower. Trying to grab a hold of him. And I grabbed the bug instead. Super. At least the bug went down with me. It'd probably be easier if I locked on. I'm assuming you can. Well, I don't know if you can lock on doing that. Lock on usually only works for enemies. I don't know why the game makes this such a huge pain in the arse. But finally we're inside here. And let's see what we find. Got 2 treasure chests.
Impossible.
I still just love... It's like you're asking him to pick up, I don't know, the Empire State Building on his back. He's just so incredulous. It's just a potion. Just, I don't know, find a place for it. You're death. You're a horseman. You can't carry just one more potion. Of course, I guess you could make that argument for infinity. It's just 5,000 potions you got. You can get 5,001 potions on your person. So again, I'm looking at any new items that I've gotten so far. Again, they're not very exciting. Now, one could argue, well, if you know this part isn't that exciting, why don't you cut it out? I am under the mentality on the LPs that unless it's just incredibly tedious or incredibly repetitive, you don't cut it out. Examples of things that I cut out are things like in Skyrim, if you're traveling from one location to another, or if I'm just going to work on a trade skill, where all I'm doing is literally buying a bunch of components, going back to the work table, spamming different spamming combinations, going back and buying stuff. That kind of thing, I have no problem cutting out. What I'll usually do is show you how I'm going to do it, for those of you who are interested. And then just cut out the monotonous parts. Here I'm sacrificing some items to increase it says possess arm blades, but I don't think that's right. I think it looks like pole arm. But maximizing that pole arm up. Let's see. Damage, strength, wrath, and arcane crit. What do I pick here? Defense is always nice. Strength, of course. I really like strength. Doing more damage. I'm definitely on the offensive side of defense, if you know what I mean. You don't need as much defense if everything is dead. Obviously, this is in moderation. You can't realistically just go 100% offense. But for the most part, in games like this at least, where it's possible that you don't get hit if you are paying attention and dodging properly and all that, you should, in my opinion, you should focus, way more on offense than defense. Because really, you shouldn't be getting hit at all, or very rarely. If you are, you need to L2P. So again, just more upgrades for the polearm. Let's see. I do like how the stats you pick to improve also improve by themselves as you level the weapon up. That's nice, instead of just being a static number. I think I go with defense, because strength would not be much of a increase. So despite what I just said, I could do strength again, I think, from looking at that, but the increase was like, what, 2 points? Absolutely not worth it. That's one thing you need to consider when you're looking in any game like this, when you're looking at what do I upgrade. A lot of times, 1 point in something is worth a ton. For example, my first options when upgrading that weapon is strength versus defense. And let's just say, for simplicity's sake, putting the one, choosing strength give me 25 strength, choosing defense give me 25 defense. So I choose strength. Next level, I can do strength again, but it only gives me 5 points. Or I can choose defense, which gets me 25 points. Now, while I value strength more than defense, I get far more bang for my buck, if you will, from putting that point into defense than I do by putting it into strength. Does that make sense? Because that second point, let's just call it a point, putting that second point in strength, I get a very small increase. But putting that point in defense, I get a much better return. So hopefully that makes sense. That's my kind of thought process on that, and that's why sometimes you'll see me in various games like this pick a talent or a skill or whatever and only put 1 point in it, because that 1 point gives me way more return than spending more points in it. So